Hey everyone, this is Rob D. Tonight and every Monday night, I take just 5 minutes to share a new conversation that we're having in the health and nutrition industry that likely will challenge everything you thought you knew about nutrition. It did for me. I was a two-sport athlete, a personal trainer for 18 years, someone who will always be a gym goer. I thought I was pretty well grounded when it came to performance and nutrition, but I like to say what I didn't know, I didn't know. So if you're a skeptic listening in the next 5 minutes, you probably should be. I was. But I was also open. I never thought I knew it all. And if someone could show me facts, we're going to do that. Hard evidence, we're going to talk about that. Real research, we have tons of it. I was willing to listen. So here's the deal. In the next few minutes, you're going to have heard enough information to decide if you want to hang on and learn more or if you want to hang up. Honestly, we're fine either way. We appreciate you listening in as it is. We want to thank you for trusting whoever it was. We all know it's kind of weird to ask somebody to listen in for 4 or 5 minutes, or, typically it never lasts that long. It always drags on, but we're going to keep this short, tight, simple, to the point. That's our goal every Monday night. So we're going to jump right in. Number one, macronutrients defined. These are substances that provide calories or energy for the body. There are three, you know them well. They're proteins, carbs, and fats. Each provide a unique energy source. They all have an energy yield to the body. So, for example, a gram of fat has an energy yield of 9 calories, whereas a gram of protein or carb have an energy yield of 4 calories. So here's where it gets interesting. This is where usually the table turns for most people. Our company, Pruvit, launched a few months ago, recently introduced what we consider a fourth macronutrient to the consumer market, that's got a higher energy yield than both carbs and fat. Higher energy yield than just 4 calories per gram of protein. Higher yield than just 4 calories per carbohydrate. It's an energy source that's preferred by the body, specifically your brain, and it's protein sparing. Well, I'll speak to that in just a minute, but if your goal is to lose body fat, not weight, but body fat, you're absolutely going to want to use this product. I tell people all the time, look, I know enough to be dangerous about nutrition, but I'm also a research junkie. I'm sure there's some of you on here like I was, more scientific, driven by research. This is going to get your attention. Our product generates more ATP per unit of oxygen than glucose. Let me say that again. And if you're an athlete, hardcore fitness person, don't miss this. We have a product that generates more ATP, cellular energy, adenosine triphosphate, fancy way of saying energy, per unit of oxygen than glucose. So when athletes take this product before they train or run or work out, they swear they didn't have to breathe as much. Frankly, that's no placebo effect. We can point you to the exact research of why and how ketones are a preferred source of energy by the brain and how they have a higher yield of ATP per unit of oxygen. So what is this? We call it Keto OS. It stands for a ketone operating system, and it's an exogenous ketone product. It puts you into therapeutic ketosis in less than an hour with a single serving, regardless of a person's eating habits or diet. You don't need to follow a ketogenic diet to get the benefit here, and we can prove it. We can physiologically prove through a blood or urine test that our product will elevate your blood ketone levels to therapeutic levels and do it for several hours. For those of you less familiar with really what I'm talking about, the term ketosis, you'll probably associate it with the idea of cutting carbs from your diet in order to use stored body fat for energy. The problem is getting into a state of nutritional ketosis, and that's where your body naturally creates ketones endogenously inside the body. It's just very difficult, not only to achieve, but to maintain. So this is what blew my mind, and I wouldn't believe it until I experienced myself. You could show me all the research you want. If I didn't see with my own eyes this next statement, I wouldn't have believed it. To create the benefits of endogenous ketones naturally in the body at therapeutic levels, you're looking at 5 to 10 rough days with very aggressive dietary restrictions. You feel like you have the flu. Yet we offer those same benefits in just 1 hour with just one serving of Keto OS. Same impact, same outcome, same benefits, same response, but in just an hour. 5 to 10 days, very difficult dietary restrictions, or just drink 1 scoop of our powder in a shaker cup with ice and water. That's profound. So why does this matter? Why should you care? The reality is this. Ketones, no matter how they end up in your body, they're amazing. Just Google it. Ketones, followed by just about any other word. Ketones, space, sports performance. Ketones, space, Alzheimer's, diabetes, fat loss, body recomposition, epilepsy, dementia, you name it, the research is there. So what's the practical application? First, to the everyday person who simply wants to look and feel better. You don't have to eat 5 to 6 small meals every day in order to keep your metabolism running efficiently. That's just a myth. I believed it, but it's just not true. What if we told you to drink our Keto OS product tomorrow morning when you wake up and then don't eat anything till lunch? But you're not hungry, you don't have cravings, you have great energy. Believe it or not, there's a noticeable improvement in focus and mental clarity. More importantly, the ketones we put in your body, they're protein sparing. So during that calorie restriction, there's no muscle, we prevent muscle breakdown. So when you actually do eat around lunchtime, it's high fat, medium protein, low to no carbs. So yes, put butter on your broccoli, have bacon with your whole eggs, choose the fattest cuts of meat, dark meat chicken, put heavy cream in your coffee. Guess what? You follow that plan, during that meal, you're going to fill up fast. You're going to be satisfied. You'll enjoy your meal. I feel like it's a cheat meal every time I eat. And then if you choose, maybe a second serving of our product in the afternoon, followed by yet another high-fat, medium protein, low to no carb dinner, preferably before 8 o'clock. And that's going to be your second, just your second and last meal of the day. In short, here's what happens. You eat a couple great tasting meals each day. You feel fantastic. You don't even think about food or being hungry in between those meals. And yet during those periods of calorie deficit, your muscle and your lean tissue is protected. So think about it. 8 at night to about noon the next day, that's 16 hours your body's been fasting. And with our products, this approach, you'll begin to change. Your biomarkers, they respond almost immediately. Blood sugar, insulin sensitivity, your body mass index, your BMI. Bottom line, you're teaching your body to prefer ketones for fuel over glucose. So that's the everyday average people. What about those who are already fit? They don't have much fat to lose, or those wanting to gain weight. What about, the athletes, the fitness minded? Start talking about inflammation. Start talking about maximizing levels of ATP. Matter of fact, let's take it even a step further, and let's go where the ketone research is all being done. This is where it became personal with me. 3 years ago, we all know what type 1 diabetes is. The pancreas doesn't secrete insulin. We need insulin to push blood sugar and the glucose into our cells. Type 2 diabetes. Insulin becomes, or our tissue becomes resistant to insulin. Type 3, didn't know what it was until 3 years ago when I Googled it because my father had type 3 diabetes, aka Alzheimer's disease. This product changed my life after I had done 3 years of research trying to figure out how could I help my dad. I never wanted my kids, or I never want my kids to see me the way I had to see my dad laying in that bed when he passed away this past Christmas Eve. And ketones and the research are all around it. There's a book that changed the way I thought, and if you have parents, you absolutely should read this book, Alzheimer's. What if there's a cure? The Power of Ketones. It'll change everything that you think about how nutrition plays into your daily routine, about how nutrition plays into their daily routine. So look, we're at the 5-minute mark. You've either heard enough to hang up or enough to hang on and keep learning more. We'll probably talk a little bit about the science, maybe about the company. But again, want to thank you for listening in. Maybe I overshot a few minutes. Maybe it's more like 7, 8, 9 minutes. But we appreciate you listening in. For those of you that want more, what is the science? On the surface, here's an analogy that I think works. Imagine an 18-wheeler truck pulling down a giant oil tanker down the highway and it runs out of gas. So you've got this huge semi-tractor trailer pulling this giant fuel tank. There's 2 tanks, right? The fuel tank on the truck or the semi, and then the giant oil tanker that the truck's pulling. But then the truck runs out of gas, and it's that small tank on the truck. This is going to represent carbs in this analogy, or sugar, which turns to glucose in your body. The larger fuel source, that giant oil tanker hooked up to the truck, this is going to represent body fat in this analogy, and that converts to ketones in your body for fuel. So back to the issue. The driver runs out of gas, and even though he's got this giant tank of fuel attached to his truck, aka body fat, he calls AAA, they come, they fill him up. Sound familiar? What do we usually do when we run out of gas? We find more fuel. Typically carbs, simple sugars, even though we carry around all this additional body fat that could be used for fuel. So we have this huge fuel tank of gas we call body fat. At least most of us could stand to be a bit leaner. I know I could. But we eat fuel, usually carbs, that fill us up and we run out. We fill it back up and we run out multiple times a day, aka those 5 or 6 small meals a day. Does that make sense? So now imagine our product, Keto OS, as this imaginary valve that somehow connects those two. You take that giant fuel tank, connect it to the smaller gas tank on the truck. We call it dual fuel. Your body was meant to burn both ketones for fuel and glucose. In other words, what if we stopped depending on carbs or glucose and started focusing on fats, which become ketones? See, we have this abundant source called body fat, but we need to learn to tap into it. That's what this does. That's what we do. That's what works, and that's what can literally change your life. Our company launched just a couple of months ago with no corporate website, an invitation-only process to order product for people that wanted to truly buy into what we see and what we believe. We didn't let them just sample a tasting. They had to buy 75 servings for $350, and again, they had to be invited to do so. We've never done a single corporate conference call. We don't promote any opportunity with this, even though our direct sales model, multi-level marketing model, network marketing model, call it what you want, we haven't even turned on the compensation program. Why does that matter? Because we're very proud of how we've been very understated with this and made it all about the product. So with all of those non-opportunity obstacles in the way, we've still managed to generate over $1 million in sales in just our second month in business. Why? Because the product is that significant. It's a game changer. You think about the last 10 years, what truly stands out as something innovative that really makes a difference? What's a product that you could actually prove within an hour of taking it? That's pretty powerful. That way you don't have to wonder, am I paying for something that I'm not really getting? Nope. We can tell you exactly what you're getting. You're getting therapeutic levels of ketones with a single serving. We can prove it. Now it's your turn to go determine through research, through reading, through all of your due diligence, what is that worth to power your body to feed your brain ketones every single day? We have a product that can do it. This product is high science. It's based on a patent pending from the University of South Florida, who owns it, the foremost experts on ketone research. And frankly, we minimize the product because we talk about body recomposition and appetite control and all these things. That's not their focus. Their focus is, what does this do to Alzheimer's patients? How do cancer cells respond to this? See, this is high-level research, and to prove it, you can go see the patent. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read this straight off the patent. Statement of government support. This invention was made with government support under grant number N00014-13-1-002, awarded by the Department of Defense, Office of Naval Research. The government has certain rights in the invention. And then it goes on to talk about the field of the invention, the background of the invention, the applications, etc. This is very real. It impacts lives. Naturally, an opportunity follows. The best part, with Pruvit, with Keto OS, you're first as a supplier to a vast demand for this product. We won't be the only kid on the block, but we were the first kid on the block. We won't be the only one that has to find the raw ingredients, but we're the only one that gets them from one of the people that invented the patent. Let me say that again. When we aligned our partnerships, we're the only company that can make this claim. Our raw ingredients, which are very hard to come by, come from one of the individuals whose name is listed as an inventor of the patent. Why would we go elsewhere? We want to stay as close as we can to that original formulation, so we might as well get our raw materials from one of the people that created that formula, that helped create this patent. That's what we stand for. That's what we deliver. And again, we challenge you. Do your research. Do your due diligence. But at the end of the day, do yourself a favor. Get back in touch with whoever asked about this, whoever asked you to listen in. Hopefully you'll thank them. Hopefully you'll want to learn more, understand what we're doing, how it's working, and what role you might could play as we expand this market throughout not only the U.S., but soon throughout the world. So thanks so much for a few minutes of your time. Have a great night. Hopefully you got something out of this. Again, this exact call or a version thereof happens every Monday night, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And those first 5 minutes, we're still polishing off the rough edges, but we'll nail this. It'll be tight, crisp, clean, to the point in those first 5 minutes. And we make that promise to you. We might have overshot that tonight, but we're going to get better. So thanks again for your time. Have a great night. God bless.